I'm here today with Benny P MMA. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
I guess the first big story I guess we have to discuss, not only the biggest story in combat sports but maybe the world, is the White House card. What were your thoughts on that?
I know a lot of people were hating on it, and they're probably hating from it from like a political lens. But I thought it was awesome. I thought it was cool. Like I don't see how it's not cool as an MMA fan to go from, John McCain calling it like human cockfighting in like the '90s to then having an actual event on the White House lawn. Like I thought it was awesome. I thought it was cool. I thought the card was really like one of the best cards I've ever watched. Like everything about the card was really cool, except for Cyril Gahn winning. But besides that, it was really cool. It was awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Every fight delivered beyond expectations, I thought, and it was just a well constructed card on paper that turned out to be better than I even expected. So and then a lot of the promo packages I think were very good as well. Kind of reminded me of maybe even more than the Sphere.
Yeah, I thought it was better production than the Sphere card. I thought it was cool with like the music they did was really cool. Like they had an actual live orchestra playing. Like I thought that was awesome. Like I don't know, everyone hating on it, but I thought it was fucking cool. Like I'm just gonna say how it is. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I definitely love the orchestra. I think the only time I've ever seen that before is when they had the live music with McGregor. So I'm definitely all
Yeah.
for those personal touches.
Yeah, like yeah, like I don't know. It sucks though that literally all the mainstream media is talking about is Josh Hoker with the Michelle Obama thing. Like that's all they're talking about, which it was such a great event, and that's of course the media is always going to be negative, so that's like all they talk about. But I thought the event was like really cool. I liked it. I liked the idea of it. They're never going to do it again either, so I thought it was cool that we got this.
Yeah, it's definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. And yeah, every fight, only the third card in history where every fight ended in a finish for the
Yeah.
UFC. So, definitely appreciate. Definitely one of the best cards on paper actually turned out to be one of the best cards in practice.
Yeah, all knockouts too, all seven. For the main event, obviously not a not like a KO, but still all finishes, all knockouts. Like it's the first time. Like obviously, I get it. There's less fights than other cards, but still seven knockouts is still pretty crazy. You rarely see that many on a card.
Yeah, especially since some of the fights I don't think most people had on their a knockout on their bingo card.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I know you're very also tapped into the MMA prospect scene. Watching your channel, you know, you were very early on the rise of Quillen Salkill, Tom Nolan. I guess what do you currently see now out of the Australian MMA scene?
It's still the lightweight division. Like, there's something about the lightweight division in Australia where these guys are just like next level. Like, I got an amateur prospect for you, and I've got a professional prospect for you. For the amateurs, I've got a guy I've been high on, and I've been this. I really hope he like becomes world champion because I've been saying he's like the guy since he was like 1-0, 2-0. So I've really been on this guy's hype train early. His name's Zane Martin. He's now 5-0 or 6-0. Tapology doesn't update his record properly for some weird reason, but he's really good. He trains with Volk, and I was hearing from people like 3, 4 years ago, like when yeah, about that time, 2 years ago or something like that. This guy was giving Volk like his toughest rounds, and he's still only like 19. And he's a lightweight, really good jiu-jitsu, striking's coming along well. Yeah, he's someone to really keep your eye on because he's going professional in his next fight too, and I think he's going to be a problem like for everybody. And as for the professional ranks, I've got a couple, but there's these two brothers, the Maoki brothers, really good. Brody Maoki, he's 5-0. He's a lightweight. Kyle Maoki, he's a featherweight. I think he's 6-0. I think he's got one more win, but they're both really good. Both train at CKB now as well, but they are Aussie. And Brody is like crazy because he's got junior fights, amateur fights, and professional fights, and all up. I think his record in combined MMA is like 28-0, 29-0 as a junior, an amateur, and a pro. And he's really good. He's also got, I think he's 18-1 or 18-2 in Muay Thai and kickboxing. And he's primarily a grappler too. So like he's very well rounded. And he's also really young. I think he's like 20, 21 now. So yeah, he's probably on the cusp of like Dana White Contender Series if he gets like another win or two.
Yeah, the all fights combined 28-0, and 2021 reminds me a lot of Makayev.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
exactly. Yeah,
seeing him,
he's
the rumors and just stuff you'd see about him, just mauling people.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he won the junior IMAF as well. I think he won like because like obviously if you know juniors, they don't do head contact. They just punch the body and they do submissions. But he won. I'm pretty sure he won the junior IMAF when he was like 15 or something like that. I could be wrong. I know he competed in there and he beat a guy from Kyrgyzstan, and I know he didn't lose. So I'd imagine he won it, or unless he got like a I don't know, a one-off fight on the card or something. But yeah, he I remember him subbing some guy from Kyrgyzstan from memory. So yeah, he's very good. He's very good grappler, and his striking come along well because he's just like beating the shit out of everyone on the feet now. So yeah, very well rounded.
And I saw, expanding beyond Australia, I saw your recent video about the new Nepalese McGregor.
Yeah, yeah. The hype train of Dant is crazy. I posted about it and I had because I know some Nepali people in like person as well, and I had like Nepali people replying to me who don't I've never even talked to about MMA, and they're like, "Oh, is this about Dant?" Like they all know about him. Like he's actually, yeah, his fan base is crazy. Like I love it. I love like I remember when Anshul Jubilee was first like won the road to UFC. I remember making videos about him because I know how like passionate the South Asian fan base is for their fighters. Like they really go all in. Like, and I think Dant's actually pretty good. Like I actually think Dant's not bad. Like he's tough. He's gritty. I don't think he's going to beat Kasib Murdoch. But I do think he'll probably get his way into the UFC eventually because he is actually pretty good and he's really tough and he's got a heart. He's got heart. And he obviously I think he trains in like Bali with a lot of those like other Southeast Asian and South Asian guys who go and train there. But yeah, I actually think he's not bad. Like he's building a good amount of hype for himself. Like even if he did beat Kasib, he's gonna win the tournament because I think they're the two best guys. But yeah, it's awesome to see like and not to say like niche as in to like disrespect them, but to see like a country lesser known for MMA to like have like a big star like that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm all for expanding the markets. I mean, I think you saw, a decade ago with the stands coming in. Right now you're seeing kind of the Mongolian invasion, and
Yeah.
now it's kind of spreading to south. With Myanmar, and now more so Nepal and India. So it's definitely a very exciting time for Asian MMA in general.
Yeah, like 100%. I think it's always cool to get all the different types of like markets into MMA, like you say. Expanding the market's important. Like I think we need to get like a Sri Lankan fighter next. We need to get like a Bengali fighter next. Like I remember there was actually meant to be a Bengali guy in Dana White Contender Series, but he fucked himself over and he took a fight on the regional scene when he was already guaranteed a shot and he got knocked out and yeah, it just completely ruined his hype train. He was a heavyweight too, so he probably would have won, but ends up getting knocked out on the regional scene, and I guess Bangladesh has to wait another couple of years before they get a fighter. But I like to stay tapped into a lot of those like markets. Like I actually sometimes try and catch Matrix Fight Nights, which are like the Indian equivalent to like LFA or for Australia, like Eternal. It's like their version. It's like their main MMA promotion. I think it's actually run by a Bollywood actor. I think he has a stake in it. But they always put on pretty good South Asian cards. And a lot of the times, a country that has like a lot of success in that is Afghanistan. But unfortunately, MMA is banned there now because of the government they have there, so, which is a bit of a shame because they do actually have some pretty good like regional fighters out of Afghanistan. Obviously, Nasrat Hakparast, originally from there. The Basharat brothers, like I don't know, I feel like Afghanistan could have been an untapped market, but unfortunately, their government's not a big fan.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. And, Anthony Pettis FC was actually just over in India a few months back.
Yeah, because I think he did an event for his Pettis fight Showtime Fighting Championship or whatever his promotion's called. I think he's been really tapped into the Indian market. Like he's talking about the Indian market like that, they're the next Dagestan. Now I'm not going to necessarily say that's true. I think they have a lot of work to go before they can be put in the ranks of the big boys when it comes to like skill level. But I think it's cool if you can get some more Indian fighters. Eventually one of them's got to be good, right? Like they've got to have like a star eventually, like somebody who can do something, because it gets to a point where you do sort of feel bad for their MMA fighters because yeah, they have not been having a very good time. Even on Dana White Contender Series, the one Indian guy they've got on the card is fighting Bilal Hassan, who is like an insane prospect. Like,
Yeah.
so they're not doing him any favors whatsoever.
You know, a lot of people, follow CrossFit very closely. Below us on is literally their number one guy,
Yeah.
regardless of weight class.
Yeah, and they're putting him against the guy who got knocked out on road to UFC, I'm pretty sure. So, like, I just know that's going to be a disaster. There's nowhere I see where Bilal Hassan loses that fight unless he gets DQ'd. Like, I think he's going to massacre him. Like, I just say how it is.
And yeah, Hassan also goes on with, kind of the South Asian trend being originally
Yeah.
Indonesian.
Yeah, and that's like revenge as well, because Anshul Jubli, he beat Jekasaragi to win the tournament, which was an Indonesian. So he's that would be good for the Indonesian fight, like because Indonesia actually has a lot of fights going on there. I remember actually one day I got bored, and I went through their Tapology, and there was a guy who beat Jekasaragi who was from Indonesia, and I think he was like. I don't know. He was like 15-3, but for some reason they signed Jekasaragi for Road to UFC over him. But yeah, like there is a big market in Indonesia. Like they do have a lot of fights. 'Cause people don't realize this, but Indonesia is like the third or fourth most populated country in the world. They have like 200, like I don't know, 230 million people there. Like they actually have a really big population,
Yeah.
and very close to like Thailand and all that. So there's obviously going to be a lot of kickboxing and Muay Thai and left way as well from the Burmese and all them other countries around there. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably like an untapped market as well that needs to be. I was going to say exploited, but that sounds a bit crazy. But like I don't know, they need to invest in. I feel
Take
like
advantage.
yeah, which also sounds pretty fucked up now
Yeah.
that I think about it. But yeah, I just think that the Indonesian market definitely needs to be looked into. You could build up even like I don't know. They have tried to do that. To be fair, with the road to UFC, they do get a lot of Indonesian fighters. I've noticed on these events. But I think next season, I think they're going to try and get more into the Central Asian countries because they did do that with some of the women fighters. They had a few Kyrgyzstan fighters, so I think the Central Asian market's probably going to be the next like explosion because obviously we've seen it with the Kazakh fighters like Shavkat Rakhmonov and certain other guys who are coming up. I think that they're probably going to invest now in like Kyrgyzstan because there's that guy I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but in Ryzen, and he's an absolute monster, and he's just destroying everyone. He's like I think he's like 19-0 or something like that. He's from Kyrgyzstan. He's a featherweight, and he's like got 2 fights left on his Ryzen deal. He's probably going to come into the UFC, and he's probably going to start destroying everyone at featherweight.
Yeah, I believe he's 24, 25. So
Yeah, he's very young and he's building up all the experience you need at that age. Yeah, and you put him in the UFC, and knowing the UFC, they're gonna do something mean. They'll probably matchmake him against Julian Erosa or something like that, where he'll get like a pretty mean KO or against somebody like that, or they book him against C-Rod, and C-Rod will somehow derail him because C-Rod can only beat prospects and ruin the UFC, but then lose to all the veterans. So that'll probably be what happens actually if we're going to be realistic.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I definitely think an event. Speaking of them expanding to Serbia, I definitely think like a Kazakhstan event. I don't know about all the infrastructure, but that would definitely be something that I'd love to see.
Yeah, well, they were actually going to do a Kazakhstan event, believe it or not. It was in 2020, 2021, but obviously the
COVID.
world shut down. Yeah, and there was meant to be Peter Yan versus Marlon Moraes, which would have been a massacre. It would have been really bad for Marlon Moraes, but that was actually going to happen. And they're like, all right, well, this didn't happen. So they just gave up on the whole idea. And it's 6 years later, and they still haven't done an event there.
Yeah, I think South Korea is still waiting for their event as well. That got canceled.
Yeah, because the Korean Zombie was meant to retire then, and then he ended up retiring in Singapore of all places. Yeah, it was. It happens. Like they seem to like believe in curses. Like, oh, this event got cursed. All right, we're not gonna go back there now. Like they're just like, well, yep, didn't happen. Never happening now, kid. Like Dana's like, South Korea didn't work, kid. All right, let's go to Singapore. Like it's like, and they're like, yep, never going back there.
I'm still waiting on the Ricardo Lamas BJ Penn sequel from 2016 in Manila.
Yeah. I remember what was the fight? There was a fight that got booked like 4 times. It was like I think it was like Ricardo Lamas versus like Ryan Hall or something like that. It was Ryan Hall versus someone or Lamas versus someone. And I remember they kept trying to book the fight and it just didn't happen whatsoever. Then I think Ricardo Lamas ended up retiring after beating like Bill Algeo or something like that. It's like I don't know. Sometimes the UFC get obsessed with trying to make these fights. Like I think it was Jailton Almeida versus Shamil Aburadimov. They booked that like 5 times before it happened. Like the UFC seem to get set. They get set on some of the weirdest fights sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely seems like some fights are cursed.
Yeah, like I mean Justin Gaethje going back to that White House card. I seen Paddy Pimlet call him like the fight curse, or no, they called him like the fight breaker, or he called him something. Because he's the dream fight killer, I think is what he called him. Because he killed Tony versus Habib, he killed Ilya versus Paddy, and he also killed Ilya versus Islam. Because he's just destroying all of the ideas of dream fights. Like, it's actually crazy. He's like his only place on this earth was to just ruin every dream fight we want.
Yeah, the title run this late in your career gives kind of shades of Bisping.
Yeah, like I still cannot believe it. Like I wake up and I look at the UFC champion and I'm like, damn, Justin Gaethje. He at 38 years of age, pretty much, he beat the guy who killed all of our favorite fighters. Like he destroyed like all-time greats. Like it just still doesn't make any sense to me. It's just the only way I can factor it in is maybe Ilya Topuria shouldn't be at lightweight. I know he knocked out Charles, but Charles is a former featherweight. Like that's the only way I can ration it. But even then, like he did have so much success in that second round. I just feel like there was some fight IQ errors that he made. But I don't know. It blows my mind that like Justin Gaethje actually pulled it off.
For sure, yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people were surprised at the result, and it's good to see Justin Gaethje. Given his career, he was in the conversation for best fighter never to be undisputed title. But I'm sure he's glad to not be in that conversation anymore.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about this all is all it does is like make Dustin Poirier look even funnier because he's now got to win over another undisputed champion but doesn't get the belt himself. Like it just makes me feel so bad for Dustin, all things considered. Like all these guys he's beaten had like such competitive fights for and he just could never break through. But yeah, he's been saying online that he would come back for a rematch against Justin, but he also said that he's like roided to the gills right now, so that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I think I said that he posted on Twitter his toughest fight would be USADA.
Yeah, yeah. Which, yeah, if you look at him, he does look like pretty shredded to the kill. But I respect him for just being like, yeah, I'm on roids now. Like a lot of people just deny it, but he's like, no, I'm getting on roids as soon as I retire.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. For everyone, I highly recommend subscribing to Benny P MMA on YouTube. Where else can people follow you? You always
You
breaking
can
fight news on Twitter.
Yeah, you can follow me on my Twitter, Benderman2001. I'm never changing the app. People always say to me, you should change the app, make it more professional. Like, no, I'm the least professional MMA journalist in the world, and I'm going to keep it that way. So, Benderman2001 is my Twitter. My Instagram is thebenpe_01. If you want to contact me, I probably reply better on there because I do get a lot of message requests on my Twitter, and a lot of the times it's random spam accounts that are pretending to be girls from like India and Nigeria, and so I just don't check my message requests on Twitter because, yeah, I don't know. I got like a market on my Twitter for my message requests. I got 3 things that it normally is on there. It's either 1, scammers from India or Nigeria. 2, it's not just random MMA hate comments, or 3, it's Israeli hate comments, which are more intense. So it's either of those. So yeah, if you want to ever contact me, yeah, contact me on Instagram for sure.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate it. Yeah, Tyler recommended everyone check out his content, and yeah, really appreciate taking time to speak with me today.